Welcome to Reims, where kings were crowned, champagne was born, and French history was written in stone. This is 2 days of royal cathedrals and grand promenades of ancient chalk cellars and golden bubbles. Stick with us till the very end for the stories, flavors, and insider tips that will make your Reims adventure truly unforgettable. Best time to visit Reims. Reims is at its best in late spring and early autumn, May, June, September, and early October. Days are mild, around 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 21 degrees Celsius, and the city feels open and relaxed. It's the kind of weather that makes you want to linger on grand promenades, take your time in the chalk cellars, and enjoy a seat at a cafe terrace without the summer rush. In July and August, expect warmer days, 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 to 27 degrees Celsius, and a busier energy as festivals and visitors from around the world fill the squares. Winter slows the pace. The air turns crisp, temperatures drop to 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 to 7 degrees Celsius, and festive lights glow above quieter streets. It's a more intimate side of Reims, though some champagne houses shorten their hours. Airport tips. The closest major airport to Reims is Paris-Charles de Gaulle, CDG, about 90 miles, 145 kilometers away. From there, the easiest way to Reims is by high-speed TGV train. The ride takes around 45 minutes and tickets usually range from $30 to $50. Trains depart directly from the airport's Terminal 2 station, so there's no need to travel into central Paris first. If you prefer the flexibility of driving, car rentals are available at the airport, and the journey takes about 1 hour and 30 minutes via the A4 motorway. For those on a budget, long-distance buses connect CDG to Reims in around 2 hours, often for under $20, but with fewer daily departures. Once you arrive in Reims, the central train station is just a short walk from the historic core, making it easy to start exploring right away. Where to stay in Reims? If you want to wake up with cathedral spires just outside your window, stay in the historic city center. You'll be steps from Reims Cathedral, the Palais du Tau, and some of the city's best dining. La Caserna Chancy Hotel and Spa blends elegance with modern comfort, with rooms from around $300 per night. For mid-range comfort, the Bowling Green district offers Art Deco charm, the famous covered market, and a quieter atmosphere while still being within walking distance of the sites. Best Western Premier Hotel de la Paix is a favorite here, with stylish rooms and an indoor pool for $150 to $200 per night. On a tighter budget, base yourself near the main train station. You'll have easy transport connections, plenty of cafes, and just a short walk to the Old Town. Rates here often start from $90 per night. How to get around Reims? Reims is a city best experienced at street level. The historic center is compact, so you can walk from the cathedral to the covered market or from the promenades to the champagne house in just minutes. Along the way, you'll pass shop fronts, shaded squares, and cafe terraces that invite you to stop and linger. When you need to go farther, the bus and tram network is clean, reliable, and easy to navigate. A single ticket costs about $2 and lasts for 1 hour, while a 24-hour pass is around $5, ideal if you're hopping between neighborhoods or visiting sites on the city's edge. Taxis and ride shares are available, though pricier, so they're best for late evenings or when carrying luggage. Cycling is also a pleasant option on warmer days, with rental bikes and paths linking key areas. Day 1. The heart of historic Reims. Morning. Fujita Chapel. Begin your Reims journey in a place that feels almost secret, the Fujita Chapel. Officially known as the Chapel of Our Lady of Peace, it was designed in the 1960s by Japanese-born painter and printmaker Suguharu Fujita, who spent his final years in France. From the outside, it's a modest pale stone building tucked away from the main tourist flow. Step inside, and the walls bloom with soft, dreamlike frescoes, angels, saints, and scenes from the life of Christ painted in Fujita's unmistakable style that blends Eastern delicacy with Western tradition. The chapel is small, so you can take it in slowly, letting your eyes follow the pastel tones, the fine brushwork, and the way the light shifts across the curved surfaces. Entry is about $7, and 20 minutes here is enough to absorb its quiet beauty before the day gathers pace. Insider tip. When you're near the altar, pause for a moment and look closely. you'll spot Fujita himself painted into the scene, a small figure among the saints, quietly leaving his mark. Surrender Museum. From the chapel, make your way toward a piece of history that changed the course of the 20th century, the Surrender Museum. Set inside a former school building, this is where, on May 7, 1945, the Germans signed the unconditional surrender that ended World War II in Europe. Walking through the modest entrance, you'll step into rooms preserved almost exactly as they were that day. The highlight is the war room itself, with its long wooden table, worn chairs, and the maps still pinned to the walls, frozen in time. Entry is about $6, and the museum also houses displays on the liberation of Reims, the city's strategic role during the war, and the international press coverage that followed the signing. Black and white photographs and original documents line the walls, giving a sense of the tension and relief that filled the air in those final days of the conflict. Mars Gate. From the museum, follow the streets toward one of Reims' oldest surviving monuments, the Mars Gate or Porte de Mars. This massive Roman arch once marked the northern entrance to the city when Reims was once known as Duracotorum, the capital of Roman Gaul. At 108 feet, 33 meters wide, it's one of the largest surviving triumphal arches in the world, and walking beneath it feels like stepping back nearly 2,000 years. Its 3 archways are framed with weathered reliefs showing scenes of harvests, military victories, and Roman deities. Though time and war have softened the details, you can still make out intricate carvings of Jupiter, Venus, and the city's original founders. It's free to visit, and a short walk around the site reveals just how much of Reims' history is still rooted in its Roman past. Insider tip. Did you know Roman monuments weren't always bare white as many believe? Step back toward the grassy edge and look closely at the stone. In the right light, you might see faint traces of the original paint that once covered the arch in vibrant color. Late morning, walk through Promenade Jean-Louis Schnitter, Hautes Promenades. From Mars Gate, follow the path into one of Reims' most graceful green spaces, the Promenade Jean-Louis Schnitter, also called the Hautes Promenades. Once part of the city's defensive ramparts, this long tree-lined park now stretches like a living boulevard of lawns, fountains, and flower beds right through the heart of the city. As you wander beneath rows of plane trees, you'll pass ornate statues, quiet benches, and fountains catching the light. In spring and summer, the beds burst with color. In autumn, the walkway glows golden beneath a canopy of leaves. The path naturally leads you toward the lively streets ahead, where it's time to take a break and enjoy what Reims does best: good food. Brunch at L'Atelier Entrecôte et Volaille. Your stroll leads you straight to L'Atelier Entrecôte et Volaille, a brasserie that keeps its focus on 2 French favorites: juicy steak and tender chicken. The set menu is simple but done right. A crisp house salad to start, followed by your choice of meat served with the restaurant's signature sauce and golden fries. At around $30 to $40 per person, it's a satisfying pause in the heart of Place Truet de Lune, with white tablecloths, warm service, and the hum of the square just outside the window. Afternoon, Place Truet de Lune. Brunch leaves you right on Place Truet de Lune, a wide pedestrian boulevard that feels like Reims in full motion. Lined with cafes, brasseries, and shops behind elegant 19th century facades, it's a space that always seems to be alive, whether it's the morning rush for coffee, the clink of cutlery over lunch, or the slow drift of people shopping in the afternoon. At its center, the Soubé fountain stands tall, its golden angel glinting above the crowd. If you have a few minutes, take a stroll along the avenue. It's pedestrian only, so you can wander without traffic interrupting the view. You'll pass chocolatiers, boutique wine shops, and terraces perfect for an impromptu glass of champagne. But with history waiting just around the corner, we'll turn off the boulevard and make our way to your next stop. Hotel Le Veuve Museum. Leaving the bustle of the boulevard behind, you step into the quieter charm of Hotel Le Veuve Museum. This 16th century townhouse belonged to a wealthy merchant family and later to collector Hugues Kraft, whose travels across the world filled the rooms with art, photographs, and rare objects. Inside, timber-beamed ceilings and creaking wooden floors set the stage for a collection that moves from medieval furniture to delicate porcelain, from Reims civic history to artifacts Kraft brought back from Asia and the Middle East. One highlight is the set of 16th century engravings by Albrecht Dürer, a treasure you don't often see outside major Europe capitals. Entry here is about $7, and the guided tours bring the stories behind each room to life in a way that makes the house feel lived in, not just preserved. Place du Forum, Gallo-Roman Cryptoporticus. From the museum, it's a short walk to Place du Forum, a square that blends the energy of modern Reims with the footprint of its ancient past. Beneath your feet lies the Gallo-Roman Cryptoporticus, a semi-subterranean gallery built in the 3rd century AD. Once part of the city's Roman Forum, it served as a covered walkway and storage area, keeping goods cool before the days of refrigeration. Today, you can descend into the stone corridors and imagine the hum of market life above as merchants stored their wine, grain, and olive oil here. Entry is free, and the cool, echoing space is a welcome change of atmosphere before you step back into the open square. Late afternoon, Reims Cathedral. A few blocks away rises the city's most iconic landmark, the Cathedral Notre-Dame de Reims. For more than 600 years, this was the coronation site of French kings, its towering Gothic facade a statement of royal power and faith. Up close, you'll notice the intricacy of its sculptures, saints, angels, and biblical scenes carved into every arch and column. Inside, the vast nave soars above you, colored lights spilling from stained glass windows, some medieval, others modern works by Marc Chagall. A guided tour for about $10 brings the building's layered history to life, from the baptism of Clovis in 496 to the near destruction during World War I and its painstaking restoration. Whether you're drawn to the art, the architecture, or the weight of history, this is the heart of Reims' story. Palais du Tau. From the Cathedral Square, your path naturally leads toward the imposing stone facade of Palais du Tau. For centuries, this was the residence of Reims archbishops and the official lodging for French kings before their coronations. Inside, the grand ceremonial rooms still echo with that royal connection, high ceilings, gilded details, and the weight of state occasions that once unfolded here. The museum holds some of the cathedral's most precious treasures: intricate 15th century tapestries depicting the life of Clovis, glittering reliquaries, and the coronation robes of Charles X, the last king crowned in Reims in 1825. Entry is about $10, and wandering through its galleries gives you a fuller picture of the elaborate rituals that made this city the stage for the French monarchy. Carnegie Library. Continue through the city streets until a different kind of beauty comes into view: the clean, elegant lines of the Carnegie Library. Built in the 1920s with funding from American philanthropist Andrew Carnegie, it stands as one of France's finest examples of Art Deco architecture. The entrance alone is worth pausing for: sculpted stone panels, ornate ironwork, and geometric details that set the tone for what's inside. Step into the reading room and you're met with tall windows, colorful stained glass, and soft dappled light falling across rows of books. Mosaics decorate the floors, while every fixture and fitting carries the same careful craftsmanship. It's not just a library, but a monument to a period when design and function were in perfect harmony, and a peaceful pause before the evening ahead. Evening. Dinner at Restaurant Gabriel Toit Terrasse. As the day winds down, make your way to Restaurant Gabriele Toit Terrasse, where modern French cuisine meets sweeping rooftop views. The menu shifts with the seasons, but you can expect refined dishes built around fresh regional ingredients. Think tender cuts of meat, delicate fish, or creative vegetarian plates, each plated with care. Dining here isn't rushed, it's meant to be savored as the city lights begin to glow below. Pair your meal with a glass from their well-chosen wine list, or end with a dessert that feels like a final celebration of the day. Plan for around $50 to $70 per person for a full dinner here with drinks, and enjoy the combination of flavors and views that make this a fitting finale to your first day in Reims. Day 2. From vintage wheels to champagne dreams in Reims. Morning. Breakfast at Un Apprêté. Your day begins at Un Apprêté, where the smell of fresh coffee and warm pastries makes it impossible to rush. The plates arrive generous and colorful, maybe a stack of hibiscus pancakes dusted with sugar, a basket of buttery croissants, or a bowl of fresh fruits. On Sundays, their tables fill with their all-you-can-eat brunch spread for about $33, but even on weekdays, the a la carte choices are enough to linger over. It's the kind of breakfast that lets you settle in, sip, taste, and enjoy Reims waking up around you. Car Museum. From the cafe, it's a short drive or bus ride to the Musée Automobile Reims Champagne, one of France's largest collection of classic cars. Spread across a warehouse-style space, more than 230 vehicles tell the story of a century of motoring, from elegant pre-war tourers to quirky microcars and the sleek lines of 1960s sports models. Entry is about $8, and the layout invites you to wander at your own pace. Among the standouts are early Citroëns and Pugettes that look nothing like their modern descendants, plus rare French marquis long vanished from the roads. And here's something that most visitors don't realize: the entire collection was built privately, piece by piece, by enthusiasts. That passion shows in the care and detail of every display, turning this from a simple museum visit into a glimpse of French engineering pride. Insider tip: if you're more fascinated by the stars than by engines, you could swap this stop for a visit to the Reims Planetarium instead. It's a completely different experience, but just as memorable in its way. Late morning, St. Remy Basilica. From the hum of engines to the hush of history, your next stop is the St. Remy Basilica, a masterpiece of Romanesque and Gothic architecture. Built on the site where Saint Remigius, the bishop who baptized Clovis, the first king of the Franks, was buried. It's one of Reims' most sacred landmarks. The moment you step inside, the space feels different from the soaring drama of the cathedral. Here, the light is softer, the arch is lower, and the atmosphere deeply serene. Entry is about $9, and as you move along the nave toward the ornate choir, you'll notice centuries of craftsmanship layered into every detail. Carved capitals, delicate stained glass, and the impressive organ that still fills the church during services. This isn't just a building, it's a place that has witnessed over 1,000 years of prayer, ceremony, and history. Afternoon, St. Remy Museum. Right by the Basilica, the St. Remy Museum is housed in the former royal abbey. Its quiet cloisters and stone corridors now filled with the artifacts that tell Reims' story across the centuries. Entry is about $8, and the collection is impressively broad, including Roman mosaics, medieval weaponry, intricate tapestries, and everyday objects from the city's past. One gallery focuses on the light of Saint Remigius himself, while others explore Reims' role in the coronations of French kings. The building alone is worth the visit, with its vaulted ceilings, winding staircases, and peaceful garden views that remind you this was once a place of devotion. Lunch at Le Flech. By now you've earned a pause, and Le Flech is the perfect spot for it. Known for its modern French cooking with a creative twist, the menu changes with the seasons but might include dishes like slow-cooked meats, fresh seafood, or inventive vegetarian plates. Expect to spend around $25 to $35 for a main and dessert, or a bit more if you add wine from their carefully chosen list. It's the kind of lunch that leaves you comfortably full, ready to step back out and keep exploring without missing a beat. Late afternoon, Champagne House visit. No trip to Reims is complete without stepping into the cool, chalky depths of the Champagne House. These cellars, carved into the limestone beneath the city, have been used for centuries to store and age the bottles that made Reims famous. Tours range from about $27 for a simple tasting to over $100 for premium vintages, depending on the house and experience you choose. Three of the most renowned are Taittinger, dating back to 1734, and it's celebrated for its Chardonnay-driven style, and guided tours that end with tastings in elegant salons. Palais, founded in 1858, famous for its bold artistic approach to champagne and a vast 18-kilometer network of underground cellars decorated with contemporary art. And Veuve Clicquot, established in 1772, whose visionary Madame Clicquot revolutionized production and left a legacy now reflected in its iconic yellow label. Whichever you choose, expect an unforgettable walk through centuries of tradition, surrounded by thousands of bottles resting in perfect silence before raising a glass to the very heart of champagne. Parc de Champagne. After the refined glamour of the Champagne House, stretch your legs in Parc de Champagne, a sprawling green space just outside the city center. Once the estate of the Palais family, it's now a public park filled with wide lawns, shady paths, and quiet corners perfect for unwinding. On sunny days, locals gather here for picnics, games, or simply to enjoy the fresh air. Entry is free, and it's a gentle, refreshing pause before your evening meal, a way to let the day's experiences settle while you watch the lights soften over the treetops. Evening, dinner at Restaurant Le Parc. End your Reims journey with an unforgettable dining experience at Restaurant Le Parc. The 2 Michelin-starred jewel of Domaine Leclerc Set within a grand chateau surrounded by manicured gardens, the dining room is as refined as the cuisine, with crystal chandeliers, crisp linens, and service that feels both formal and warmly attentive. The menu is a showcase of French gastronomy at its highest level, blending classic techniques with seasonal creativity. You might start with delicate seafood prepared with champagne sauce, move on to perfectly cooked game or tender beef, and finish with a dessert as artful as it is indulgent. Tasting menus start at around $120, with the signature experience reaching $270 for a full culinary journey. Wine pairing's optional, but highly recommended. A fitting finale to 2 days in the Champagne capital, this dinner lets you savor the city's elegance one last time before you say au revoir. In just 2 days, Reims has given you grand architecture, centuries of history, and the taste of champagne at its source. Each moment, from quiet basilicas to glittering cellars, is part of the city's story you now share. If Paris is your next stop, we've got a guide ready to keep your journey flowing like the finest vintage. And if you enjoyed this trip through the Champagne capital, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next adventure.